Um, I also just got my cell phone today. Pretty cool looking dealy. Almost every single cell phone here, except for the smartphones and the Blackberries, and very few people have Android phones. Very few people have. A lot of girls have iPhones, but they're not as popular as you might think. Other than that, almost everyone uses this style phone, and this is my favorite style of phone because you just hang it up and it's protected. You know, it's pretty large. It slides in your pocket easily. So pretty much everyone uses these. And I got the cheapest phone, and it was about $70, I believe, and I got a prepaid one without a contract. And it's pretty cool. I'll zoom in here so you can take a little more of a peek at it. Pretty cool little deal. It's got a nice feel to it. It's very sleek. Here's the menu with a whole bunch of characters most of you can't read. La-di-da. And in Japan they don't text at all. They don't use SMS. And SMS is in fact a terrible, outdated, and awful system that we still use in America. Instead they just email each other through the internet, and that's much smarter, definitely. So I pay 300 yen, about $3.20 a month to have unlimited mailing. And they don't call very much, so I just got that instead through prepaid. Super cheap, $3, about $3.50 is what I pay for unlimited texting. But it does cost 90 cents a minute, approximately, about $1 a minute really, 90 yen. So about $1 a minute to call for me to send out outgoing calls, but ingoing calls are free. So I thought that was much better of a deal than paying, the $50 or $60 a month plan to have both. So that's pretty sweet. What else is there? Almost no places as far as apartments go, have any furniture in them or a washing machine or a stove. In fact, in Japan, a stove, the word for stove here, just stove pretty much, is not a stove. In fact, it's a heater. So when I said, does this place have a stove? They said, well, yeah, of course it does. But it wasn't, it was a heater. So luckily my landlord, who is super awesome, you can read about her in my blog post, the most nice person ever, she gave me a refrigerator, a stove, towels, shower curtain, mirrors, blinds, table, the chair I'm sitting in, the bed I sleep on, the futon I sleep with, the blankets I use, the utensils for cooking and eating that I use. She bought and gave all of that to me. In addition, and this is probably the best thing about having this landlord, she lives right next door, so I could ask her for help at any time. She takes me once a week, or whenever I need really, to go get stuff at the supermarket, which is like the cheapest and the best supermarket, so I don't have to ride my bike there, and I can buy large amount of things. And she handles the trash. All I have to do is pretty much sort it into cans, plastic bottles, burnable stuff, and everything else. And the fact that I can put everything else into one bag and she takes care of it is awesome. For most places, you never see your landlord, and you could only put it out on a certain day, before 8:30 a.m. on a certain day. You can't just leave it out and let it smell and get dirty. You have like a few hour window to do it. And she takes it every night and she handles it. Really cool. And every week or so, it's been 1 week and I've heard them once, this like bus kind of deal comes around, and they have a little PA system on the bus, and I heard them outside. I was kind of confused. And they say, if you have anything like TVs, DVDs, CDs, non-throwawayable things, we're going to collect them from you. And they come to your door if you need it, and they knock and they say, do you have any TVs or anything you want us to get rid of for you? Really cool, because most countries that I've heard of, including the UK and the US, you have to call for someone to do that for you. So that's pretty cool. And as far as where the trash goes, the burnable stuff, the cans, the trash, everything, I asked one of the people at school, and they said that, where did they put it? They put it in the mountains, that's what he said. They don't throw it in the ocean. In Tokyo they throw it in the ocean, but here they throw it in the mountains, because mountains are closer to the ocean here. So I found that strange. It's probably a landfill or something, but interesting, right? Speaking of mountains, this weekend I'm going to Mount Iwasaki. It's a pretty tall mountain. It's about as tall as probably 50% taller than Iron Mountain back home in San Diego. It's about a 6-hour hike all the way up and down, I think. So I'm gonna do that with my Canadian friend I've made here. He's a photographer. He brought a whole bunch of photography equipment. So hopefully I'll upload some cool pictures online for you guys that we take. And I also want to go to Hirosaki Park because Hirosaki Castle is there. Super beautiful. I only saw it once, but it's really gorgeous. The scenery and the wildlife here is definitely really pretty. That's why I really like that a lot. You don't have to. I can ride my bike or take a bus like 20 to 30 minutes and I'm there, and I can visit it. So I really want to do that as soon as possible. As far as the gym goes here, there is one gym at school, but it's mostly used by the clubs, and they won't let me use it until, or anyone use it until November. Strange, right? So I asked some people, where can I go to a gym? And as you can expect, the Japanese don't really use the gyms much. They do sports a lot. And there's this place called the Undo Koen, which is like an exercise park, essentially. And it's huge. It's gigantic. It's almost as big as SDSU. Huge. And it's 98% of it is sports stuff. You know, giant baseball field, track, soccer, you know, all kinds of sports, everything. And that takes up the vast majority of the park. But there's also like a place called pretty much a training room, and it looks kind of like a dojo. It's pretty cool. But when you go in there, you pay $1 an hour, up to 2 hours, and you can use the entire training facility. And they have a weight room mixed with a cardio room, and it's small, but it works. It's, you know, more than I expected. And for $1 an hour, it's pretty dang cheap. They got lockers and showers and everything, and they provide towels, and it's really cool. There's scales. I stepped on it today. When you step on it, you have to take off your shoes and your socks, and it reads something, I guess, through like these metal sensors on your feet in addition to your weight. You enter your height and you enter your age, and it gives you your BMI. It gives you, I don't even know if I probably can't read you the receipt because it has some words on there that I don't understand, but let me see if I can find it real quick. Sorry, I wasn't really prepared to make this video. I just felt like doing it all of a sudden. Let's see here. There you go. Right? I'm sure you can't read any of this, but it's really cool. It's got your BMI, what else is there? Weight, obviously. I can't read most of this, but it says it in kilograms, so I think it has, like, you know, how much water is in your body, how much fat, something about, I think it has daily calories recommended. For me it says 2049. Interesting. It says something about 20 years old, but that's not how old I am, so really interesting. It's got like 15 different things on here. Really cool. It says my BMI is 24, but that can't be right. And, oh no, it's definitely right because it's just based off of a few calculations, but if you know anything about BMI, you know it doesn't mean much, and it's a very outdated system. But anyway, so the gym was pretty cool. Unfortunately, they didn't have very much weight there, like just straight up. I mean, everyone there obviously was doing very little, and I was confused by the kilograms to pounds conversion, so that took some getting used to. But it's better than nothing. They have an indoor rock climbing wall too, just like at the Arc, so that's really cool that I can use that. And the people there are very nice, very accommodating, and so forth. So yeah, more about my feelings about the place and the people. I definitely stand out a lot. I get looks everywhere I go. So if I was a person who wasn't, comfortable with getting attention and being stared at every time that I'm going anywhere, it would suck. And that's, I wouldn't be comfortable with that in the past, but it's fine. I'm getting used to it, and it's fine. I never really had a problem with it to begin with, but it's just very interesting seeing, every time you walk down the street, you imagine Japanese people just, having their head down and not really caring or looking at anything, but all of them kind of turn their head and give me a look when they walk by, and it's pretty interesting. People are always saying, oh, the girls must be going crazy for you. Well, maybe, but they're very shy, and I'm an intimidating person. I'm a tall white guy, and they probably think I don't speak a lick of Japanese, so it's definitely not what most people think it is. But the few people that I've talked to, actually, if I have to interact with them either at a store, at a restaurant, at school, my tutor, my friends here, very easy to talk to, very kind. They seem to be very interested in what I have to say, and of course I'm very interested in what they say, so it's a lot of fun. Compared to the other foreign exchange students here, speaking of which, there's very few. Only about 15 from countries other than Asian countries, and altogether about 30 to 40. Very few, because of obviously the tsunami and so forth. But out of all of them, we took our placement exam, and I placed in, out of 5 levels, the 4th highest out of 5. And the highest level only has 1 class, and it's only a few Chinese students are in it. So I feel like I placed pretty high. So I'm, out of all the students, I'm in the like top 5 or so people as far as, you know, overall Japanese ability. And I'm probably the most confident in talking in Japanese, except for the Asian students, and they're cheaters because it's too easy for them. The Korean students and the Chinese students speak Japanese like they're natives. It's pretty cool. But so, you know, there's one other student from America, and one from Canada. And all the French students and German students speak relatively good English, and some of the German students perfect. But obviously, I mean, I wish it wasn't this way, but it is. The foreign exchange students always end up hanging out with the people from their own country that speak their own native language, which sucks. I mean, I try to, you know, hang out with the German students and so forth, but they always end up talking German and doing their own thing. Same with the French and all that. But it's cool. I can tell, as far as, you know, if all of us lived in the same country back home, you know, if all of us were American or all of us are French or whatever, I probably wouldn't really be friends with all these people. I'm not saying they're bad people by any means. I'm just saying that they're very different, and they're probably very different from each other. But that's what this trip's all about, is, you know, meeting new people and making friends with them. So I'm definitely doing that. I want to try to stay away from, you know, making friends with them, in the sense that I don't want to not be friends with them. I just don't want to hang out with them as much as Japanese people. So I've been trying to, you know, be more open about that. But like I said, it's hard. Out of the 6,000 students at our school, there's 10 white people. So we're intimidating, and they don't know if we can speak Japanese or not, and most of them can't. The Canadian and the other student who's from Tennessee are very unconfident in Japanese and can barely speak, you know, daily life things. They can't even talk. They can't even have a conversation about school. You know, it's difficult for them. But on the other hand, you know, I'm very confident and I love speaking Japanese. The first day that I spent here, I spent 8 hours talking with one of my advisors, and we had just a really great time talking in Japanese the whole time. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, so far it's been, you know, it's hard to explain. Definitely not lonely, not at all, but just different, because, you know, I'm used to being able to talk to people all the time, and I'm glad I made the foreign exchange student friends from Canada and Tennessee, but I really do want to make some more Japanese friends. School hasn't started, my part-time job, which hopefully I will get, hasn't started, and my club activities haven't started. So once all that happens, there'll be a lot more students at school and a lot more opportunities to make friends, because you can't just really walk up to a Japanese person on a train, in a subway, at a restaurant and start talking with them. That doesn't happen. So it's different, obviously. What else is there? Oh yeah, and the Japanese don't tip at all. I don't know if you guys knew that, but there's no tipping. It's considered insulting to tip here, so I like that a lot. You never have to worry about tipping. You just pay the food price at a restaurant with no tax. Get on out of there. Very convenient. Speaking of buying food, when you're at a supermarket, except for very few exceptions, you have to pay if you want plastic bags. People always bring their own bags. You can buy shopping bags there, and you know, that's kind of starting to be the trend in some stores in America, but they've been doing it for a while here, and I like that a lot. People don't throw away plastic bags like just for no reason. And what else? Napkins are very hard to get a hand on at any place you eat. Anytime you go to a restaurant, there will be a place to wash your hands and face, but they will not give you napkins, even if you ask. They have tissues in the cafeteria, but they don't have napkins, and it's really annoying when you're eating greasy food and you just don't want it on your face, and you have to finish eating, put all your food away in the 9 different containers to throw away, and then you can wash your hands. It's kind of a pain, but, you know, I'll get used to it. Since I'm in more of a rural place in Japan, I don't know about other places, so sorry. Almost all the floors are wooden, which is really cool. I mean, not in giant buildings, but, you know, all the mom and pop shops, which are 95% of the stores here, which is super awesome. They're all wooden floors and, you know, wooden doors and stuff like that. It's really cool. It makes the place feel a lot more homey, regardless of where you are. There's something called Nomi Hodai here and Tabe Hodai, which means all you can drink and all you can eat. And we have it in America, not all you can drink really, but We have all you can eat, but it's much cheaper here and really cool. It's usually only for 2 hours to 3 hours, but I had a nomi hodai, all you can drink, at a local bar near school, and it was about $22 for 2 hours, all you can drink. And that's pretty good. There's cheaper places that have it for about $16, $17 that I'm gonna look for, and some of them have it for 3 hours, which is cool, so you don't have to rush to get drunk. But I like that they have that a lot. That's really cool, because the drinks individually are like $5 to $6. And they have very few imported beers. They only have like Sapporo, Heineken, Kirin beer, and cocktails. You know, all the cocktails you really want. But they're weak, of course, and the beer's good though. I really do like the Japanese beer. It's better than American beer, not as good as European, but it's good. And they give it to you in a nice giant cold mug, so that's cool. And I haven't had a tabai hodai all you can eat yet, but there's apparently one here for yakiniku, which is like grilled meat with vegetables and so forth, for like $11 or $12. And if any of you guys have ever, you know, hung out with me in person when we're eating, you know that I like to eat, so about $10 or $11 for all you can eat sounds amazing, and I can't wait to do that. What else is there? They don't really have dryers here. They don't dry their clothes very often. You can go, there's a lot of cleaning places because most houses don't have washing machines, but they're expensive, the washing and drying machines, to use and to buy. So they go to cleaning places where it's like $1 to clean, 50 cents to dry, but most places don't have drying machines, so they just hang it up in their house on hangers and so forth and dry it. So that's fine now, but I think when winter comes, I'm gonna end up going to the drying places because I don't want to wait 3 days for my clothes to dry. That doesn't sound great. Everything in general is definitely smaller in Japan. Everything, literally everything. There's nothing I've seen that's bigger in Japan. Food, much smaller. You buy food in little tiny packages. You can't even buy milk in anything larger than a liter. The fridges are smaller, the washing machines are smaller, the cars are smaller, computers are smaller, printers are smaller, people are smaller, doorways are smaller, clothes are smaller, shoes are smaller, phones, bikes. I don't think there's really anything that isn't smaller. When you buy food at a restaurant, it's much smaller than you think. The service is really good, but you know, the food is really small, so I don't really eat out almost ever. I've only eaten out here like twice. Yeah, another thing that's really, other than the, what was I talking about earlier that I didn't like? Other than the trash, the most annoying thing about Japan, which honestly I really think they should change, but is the address system. They don't have names for streets. They have names for major highways usually, but not for streets. They only have names for regions, like, you know, a group of like 15 or 20 houses or whatnot. And then you have a number, and then for your house or apartment, and then you have a name for your place. Like, you know, my place is called Igurus Mansion, and then you'll have a number for your apartment. But I was taking a taxi here on the first few days I was here before I had a bike, and I gave him the address, and he got close to it, but I still didn't know where it really was. And he had to call into his office, the taxi driver, and ask them specifically where it was on a map because he didn't know. So they really need street names. When you're lost or you're just riding your bike or walking around, you only know where you are based on your surroundings, based on, you know, landmarks that you see. And sometimes there'll be signs saying, here's the school, here's the castle, here's the park, or you know, this is Highway 107. But they don't have names for streets. When you're in an area, it'll say this is the area called, for example, I live in the Jonan area. So my place is called Jonan, and I have a number, 2-10. But it's not nearly as easy and simple as streets. I mean, anyone, even if you can't read English, you can see the street sign and write it down and know where you are. But in Japan, houses don't really have numbers on them, just areas and no streets. So that's really, really annoying, especially when you get lost. You just kind of have to say, you know, I say, where's the school? Where's Hirosaki Daigaku? So I can go there, and then I know how to get home from there. So that's really annoying. My city, like I said, is not as rural as I thought. There's buildings and so forth. A lot of people have gardens, and every Sunday, I think it's every Sunday, they have a huge farmer's market that I took pictures of. It's like 3 or 4 miles long, and a lot of people sell their vegetables and so forth there. And even at those, they wrap everything in plastic. For the Japanese people who like to, recycle everything, they sure like to wrap everything individually. I mean, you can buy a box of cookies, and every cookie will be wrapped. You buy a banana, and the bananas will be wrapped. And it's like, you just kind of wonder why. Is it to protect them, or I don't really know. But speaking of protecting themselves, Japanese are very, very careful / paranoid about cleanliness. At the gym, after you use a machine, like minutes later, they'll wipe it down with, antibiotic soap and a wipe. If you're sick or you don't want to get sick, you'll wear a mask, like a SARS-looking mask. That's what we call them in America, SARS masks. I mean, people wear them all the time. Not only when they're sick, but when they don't want to get sick. So old people wear them a lot when they're out. And it's super strange because in America, like, unless you literally have SARS, you don't wear them. And they don't have hand sanitizers in as many places, and it's really weird because in a lot of places, like I said, they don't have napkins or sometimes even soap in the restrooms in some of the restrooms at the school. So it's, I mean, they're not really being consistent with it, so that's really annoying. But oh well. Another thing that's strange is the hot water usage. They don't really use it at all. For my sink and my bathtub, I have to turn my water heater on and let it warm up in order to use it. So it's strange. People here don't use credit cards or debit cards almost ever. You can, of course, but it's very rare. Almost everyone pays in cash. And that's smart, obviously, because credit is what destroyed the economy. But it's just strange not seeing people use debit cards or anything ever. They almost always use cash. They don't have checkbooks either, so they don't really use checks. And when you pay for bills, cell phone, internet, gas, water, rent, it all comes out of your bank account. You don't really, like, automatically. So you don't have to, go and pay for it or go online. So that's actually really convenient. And if you don't have enough money, they won't overdraft and give you a fee like most banks do now. Instead, they'll just send you an email, call you, come to your house, knock on your door, and say, hey, give us money or we're cutting off your service. So that's really cool. I like that a lot. Trying to think what else. Just kind of doing this out of the blue. I still have to show you my apartment, so I'll do that in another video because I'm sure this video is already super long. Yeah, that's all I can really think of so far. So pretty much, I like Japan a lot so far. Like I said, I haven't really made a whole bunch of acquaintances or friends here yet, but in the week or so that I've been here, it's been very interesting driving my bike around town and seeing a lot of the cool stuff. People always, treat me as an attraction, so that's cool. Not being able to eat as much as I can and getting lost all the time and having to deal with trash is kind of a bummer. But it's all very different and everything is interesting to me, even if it's a bummer and it's something that's annoying. It doesn't really annoy me. It's just something I have to deal with. So it's different and fun. I like it. It's a nice change of pace. The few friends I've made here are very, very cool. All my professors are very helpful, and I'm going to be starting my classes and so forth next week, so I'll tell you guys about that as soon as I know. After this, look for a video of me giving you a tour of my apartment.